Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm back on my balcony here in Maryland. And I wanted to share with you guys my garden. I haven't really gotten to show you guys that much or show you guys too much of the garden because of the snow. As you can see, we still have the snow / ice on the ground and everything was covered. Yesterday it was about 50 degrees. So I uncovered everything, and I think this morning or yesterday morning or overnight was the last night that it was the temperatures were supposed to be below freezing for nighttime temperatures. So I uncovered everything and just kind of got a look of everything to see what survived, what didn't, what I'm going to end up leaving in the garden, what I'm going to end up taking out, what may or may not survive later or may not be worth keeping, that might take up space. So I'm going to share with you guys that, and then we're going to go inside. I'm going to share with you guys these seedlings that I have in there, some of my indoor plants, and then I wanted to share with you guys the seeds that I plan to start next weekend. So let me bring you guys over here. So here I have 3 pots of strawberries. These should come back. They're still pretty green. Obviously they've died back, but they should be okay. These I had flowers in. I don't know if they're going to come back. I think they're perennials. Probably won't come back. I'm growing more anyway. I'm growing more of the Snapdragons. I'm not growing the Linaria again this year. But as you can see, those are dead. So I have those. This was just a store-bought cabbage. That's definitely gone. And then in here, I have Brussels sprouts. Same thing with this one, and some green onions. I honestly don't know if these will make it. They don't look completely dead, but they're a little crunchy. I don't know. This might just be some frost damage, but it's still kind of hanging in there. So I don't know, if that's going to make it. Same thing with this one. It's pretty small. I planted these back in, I don't know, I want to say October, November timeframe. And these are still pretty small. So I don't really think they're going to make it. And even if they did, they're so small, I don't know if I wanted to take up the space. But for now, I'm just keeping them in here and covered until I'm ready to plant out other things. So that's 2 grow bags there. I have this grow bag here that's empty. Well, it had sunflowers in it, but everything's dead in here. So that's pretty much an open grow bag. In here, I have onions. So I have these yellow Grand X onions. They're still pretty small. They did have some snow and ice that hit them. So I don't know if they're going to make it. They're still green. But if you guys can kind of see those, they're still pretty small. Those were covered in mulch. And then in here, I have some oregano. The oregano should come back. These were celery. I think those are goners. They were tiny, so I don't think that they were going to survive the snow. Just some empty pots. These had marigolds in them. And then I have some kale. So the other day I just kind of ripped the bottom leaves off that were looking a little damaged. Some more green onions. I think the kale is okay. It's a little yellowed. I did fertilize everything, I think a couple of days ago. Don't know how much that's going to actually do. Some of the soil is still kind of frozen from all of the snow and ice. This Brussels sprout is definitely a goner. It was too small to survive any of it, even though it was kind of covered. I think the temperatures in the teens and all of that it was just too much. And then here, this is definitely a goner. This was broccoli. And I couldn't get this out the other day because the soil was frozen. Let's see if I can get it out now. So this broccoli is definitely a goner, crunchy leaves, but the onions I think are okay. These were carrots. I don't know if they're gonna make it, but they're super small. So that was one of the carrots, and then these were the other carrots, and you can see I planted these back in September. So I don't think that those are gonna get too much bigger, if produce anything at all. I had some dill in here. You can see that's gone. Over here were garlic. Let's see. Yeah, so these were just store-bought garlic. I did this back in October. Those still look like they'll be okay. And in here is my raised garden bed. The lettuce did not make it. I had one celery plant in here that does not seem to have made it, even though it's still green and not too horrible looking. It looks like some lettuce might be trying to come back here. I had some celery that looked like it died back, and spinach. The spinach seems to be doing okay. So I have Oceanside spinach and space spinach. So that is what has survived in my garden through all of this. Here, my composter. I've been spinning that like once a week. I added more scraps to it yesterday and the day before. And then I have my little bird feeder out here. It doesn't seem too popular yet. And I'm just assuming that's because it's been super cold out here. And this isn't really the best placement for me to expect any birds to really want to visit. Just because it's so close to everything else. But that is my garden space here. And then I might potentially put some stuff back here. As you can see, it's kind of blocked off here, keeping the dogs from that area. And then this little patio area. So there's a potential for another garden bed to go down here, or maybe some grow bags. I just have to kind of get these gates a little bit better, keeping the dogs away, because they will definitely try to eat things from my garden. So that's the outside space. I'm going to take you guys back inside. All right, you guys, so I also wanted to share with you these overwintered peppers that we have in here. As you can see, these little yellow stickies. We had some issues with fungus gnats. I did add, when I came back from North Carolina, some vermiculite into the soil to hopefully help. And then we've just been bottom watering them so that they're not, super soaked with water at all times. But I think these are doing pretty well. There looks like there's some little bit of growth here. I did pull off some leaves like a couple months ago as well, just to keep them kind of dormant. This one I actually see has a little flower, if you guys can see that one. So once it gets warmer, these will head outside. And then my little area over here, as you can see, all this is a lot going on. I've been very active over here. But I don't know if you guys remember the parsley that I planted up. These have gotten so big over the time that I was in North Carolina. Same thing with the mint. I potted these 3 up, and the basil. And I just topped off this basil yesterday because it was just long and leggy. So I wanted to encourage that to branch out. But I'm excited about how big these parsleys have gotten over the last 2 weeks. And then I have my rosemary. Rosemary apparently takes a long time to grow, so these are still pretty small. And then the parsley that I planted early January, those are doing pretty well. My onions here, I trimmed these up a bit so that they, I think I saw somewhere to kind of keep those trimmed to like 2-3 inches or something like that. The marigolds that I planted with you guys last week, what was that? On the 6th, so February 6th, those are the main sprouts that have germinated the most. My Snapdragons, the small little Snapdragons in there. And it looks like one might have gotten sown in that cell over there, but that's okay. And then I have, what is this? So milkweed, those have somewhat germinated. Looks like I might have 2 here. I don't know if you can see in those 2 back cells. And then I didn't have these last time I had a video or made a video, these domes. I got this from Epic Gardening or Botanical Interest, one of those 2. I think they're the same company essentially. But those, my bunching onions here, those have somewhat germinated. And then more parsley, those have not germinated yet. The last set of parsley that I had germinated or grown up here germinated a lot quicker than these have been germinating. What is this? This is basil. So I did 2 different trays of basil. These were the new basil. And it looks like I have 2 that have germinated. And then this was supposedly the old basil, and a lot more have germinated. So I don't know if I mixed up the tags and these might be the new ones, or if the old ones just happen to be doing better than the new ones. And then back here, my chives have not sprouted yet. These were the new seeds of chives and the old seeds of chives in here. Nothing has germinated from those yet. And then same with the dill. Nothing has germinated with those yet. So they're still on the heat mat. I've actually kept the heat mat on like 24/7 versus I think I mentioned I was only going to leave it on for like 20-30 minutes. So I changed that. And then these are the lettuces that we up potted previously. So those are doing really well. They've gotten a lot bigger. And then the basil that I had in that little black nursery pot that I had gotten from the grocery store, I decided to go ahead and up pot all of them. I just figured they were all too crammed in that one pot. So I went ahead and gave those all a separate home. And then we have our daylily, I think, or no, calla lily rhizomes. So those are just sitting in sphagnum moss here under the grow light. As you can see, some of it's starting to sprout. So that's exciting. And then I have houseplants that have kind of gotten a little neglected, but they're still thriving. So these are, I forgot what these are called, but these are probably my favorite of the houseplants that I have. I will put it on the screen what they're called, each of them. But right now my mind is drawing a blank. I have my bamboo sitting in water here, and then my spider plant, and then this guy, pretty sure is a goner. I neglected that one a little too long. It was dry for too long. That's this guy, aglaonema, however you pronounce that. And then I had cut, or this part I think fell off. And before I went to North Carolina, I meant to put this in water. Completely forgot until I got back. So don't know if that's salvageable. And then I had taken cuttings from, or not taken cuttings. I had up these 2 plants. So this guy and then this one, they were kind of straggly in the pot. So what I did was cut them up and then just propagated them in water so that they can get some roots. Some of them are propagated in this medium here. So we'll see how that goes. More down here. And then this succulent guy down here is hiding. So that is my little indoor setup. here, and this was actually a larger plant stand, this brown stand here, but I broke it in half, or not broke it, but moved it so that it was only half of it, so that I could put my little seed starting station. So the other half is, well, part of it's here and then here. So I will potentially find another use for that. But yeah, that's my current setup. I'm thinking about getting more grow lights, because when I start more seeds, I'm going to put them, I think, on this row here, with this tray, and it's going to block the lighting to where the lettuce and the basil are. So I don't know if I'm just going to move this grow light down onto the ground, because there's also this window here. So there is some lighting that these house plants will get, the indoor plants will be able to get. And I don't really want to buy any more grow lights if I don't have to, just for this, you know, temporary seed starting station. So next I'm going to share with you guys the seeds that I plan to start at the end of February. All right, you guys, so now I'm going to share with you guys the seeds that I plan to start next weekend, I believe, towards the end of February. I might change them, just because I keep making changes to what I want to sow. So let me put you guys down and share with you guys what I'm planning to sow. Okay, you guys, so the seeds that I plan on starting the end of February, so this will be my 6-week mark. I think for my area, my last frost date is around April 15th. But like I said in my last video, or the video before that, I did it a little bit earlier. So I'm gonna sow these around February 20th to the 24th, which is next weekend / the week after that. So, and like I said, these might change, but flowers that I plan on sowing are zinnias. So I have a couple different varieties here. I have this Queenie Lime Orange and this Fireball blend. Both of these are from Botanical Interest, as you can see down here. And then this brand was from the Ferry Morse from Walmart. This Envy, this is like a lime green color. And then this Candy Cane, this was also from Walmart. And this is Premium Select brand, or American Seed, it looks like down here. More flowers. These I may or may not end up sowing, but Cosmos, mainly because of the colors. I wanted to get, you know, different pops of colors. These are also from Botanical Interest. And then I'm also sowing some spinach. I think I'm gonna direct sow these, but then I also might put some in seed trays. These are recommended to be sown outside. And then as I showed you guys earlier, I do have some lettuce that's already out there. So I might just go ahead and sow these outside in the raised bed, just direct sow them, versus potting them in seed trays. And then last that I have on my list are going to be these Roma tomatoes. These are a determinate variety. So they will only get 3 or 4 feet tall, and then give all their fruit, and then they'll be done. Last year I did, what did I do? I did some cherry tomatoes. I think I did a different type of Roma tomato that were indeterminates. So this will be the first time I'm growing a determinate type. So that is all I have on my list to sow for next week. Like I said, unless I add more to it. And then I also live with my mother. She is going to be experimenting with growing her own tomatoes as well. Usually she buys them from the store, So I bought these for her so that she can learn to, sow some seeds, learn how to take care of them and all of that jazz. So we will see how those go. She wanted more of the slicing tomatoes. I wanted the Roma tomatoes. So I'm not, really growing any of the slicing big guys here. So this is a Better Boy hybrid and Early Girl hybrid. These are both from Walmart as well. So I don't really know how we're gonna do with all this space, but I'm gonna make it work. I also ordered some 5-gallon grow bags. Those are mainly gonna be for the rosemary. I wanted to at least do the rosemary in individual smaller bags and the mint. So some of them will be bags for here. Some of them will be bags for North Carolina. I think I ordered 8. So there'll be 4 bags for here, 4 bags for there. And then we'll see how that goes. So that is it for this video.